Hello everybody and welcome to today's live album reaction. Looks like we finally sorted out the audio, been messing around with it for a long time tonight. So I'm going to share the screen to show you guys what we're going to be reacting to. I'm going to show Backstreet Brett as well. So we're going to be reacting to PinkPantheress, Fancy That. So I'm going to quickly read this description. After rising rapidly with viral TikTok snippets and marquee collaborations, PinkPantheress takes a step back from the drum and bass twist that defined her early work and instead moves towards the cushioned British pop of the noughties on new mixtape Fancy That. Don't cry for that thudding bass. It's still there, thumping against the walls of songs like Tonight. PinkPantheress just wants to incorporate a little more on these 9 tracks. Icy synths, vintage rave effects, slower vocal lines. And I think that's, pretty much all we need to know. So, Backstreet Brett, what are you thinking? Do you know PinkPantheress?
I don't. I know the other week when you said you didn't know much about Sabrina Carpenter, but just a quick, I've only got the screen very small here. She looks a little bit like Sabrina Carpenter.
Right.
No, don't need to. And it's interesting that this is her like new stuff where it feels very new already. So already having a bit of a change up. But yeah, sounds interesting.
It does indeed.
I do like to hear some new things indeed. So yeah.
Right. So Brett, can you see the thingy-majig page now, Spotify?
Fancy that. I can see that.
Okay. So how do I close that? Okay. So I don't know how to close that one. That was our previous album. So it only has 9 songs in it. 9 songs. It's only 20 minutes long, 20 minutes, 33 seconds. So all of them are short songs. And track 5 is very short, 24 seconds. So let's go for illegal first, if that's okay. Track number 1. Yeah. Let's go for it. Oh, before we do, actually, I forgot to say, if you have a request for us, guys, an album request, we will guarantee and prioritize it for you as long as you send us a little bit of money. That's all you got to do, guys. Send us a little bit of money, either on some of our YouTube videos directly and on coffee.com. You can find all the information down below in the description. It can be any genre, any sort of album. Just don't make us sort of sit through a 9-hour, I don't know, compilation album of some sort, please.
That dance track we did many years ago. Double CD dance track.
Don't give them any ideas. Right, let's get going.
Hey,
Okay, so there we go. That's track 1 done. Yeah, so kind of like a bit, kind of because we read the introduction to the album according to that review kind of thing, whatever it was, but that does help, I think. It's not something we don't normally do that, do we? Just kind of just go straight into an album, don't really know what we're going to be listening to, what to expect. So yeah, definitely felt the drum and bass throughout there. So it was a very sort of boppy kind of song. I felt like the singing was quite subtle. Like, I don't know, it was just quite sort of there, but you certainly couldn't make out really what she was singing about. It was more about sort of the beat. And I was going to say, as it was going on, kind of not really that much happening, but then there was a bit of a change up as well, I suppose, like towards the end, or maybe just after halfway, because it's quite a short song. So yeah, I was sort of bobbing along to it. I quite liked it. I think maybe I was hoping for a little bit more of like the 90s kind of pop that was talked about in that description of the album. So it was sort of like it felt like a sort of young person, a clean sort of drum and bass. Sometimes when I think of drum and bass, like back in the day when we were like clubbing and stuff, it just, I don't know, it felt a bit, I don't know about dark's the right word, but I don't know, just felt quite friendly for kids. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway, Backstreet Brett, how did you find it?
Yeah, that was definitely very boppy, wasn't it? And definitely felt that sort of, I was getting sort of like that naughty sort of almost garage music coming through as well, as a tiny bit of the drum and bass kind of thing. But yeah, as you said, it wasn't so much focus on the sort of singing. So I know we had towards the end a little bit more of a rappy bit, which I saw you enjoy quite a bit. But yeah, the prominent was definitely the sort of the beat of the music, really. And that was quite good. Yeah, a bit nostalgic in places there. I think this is probably, I know you're probably expecting a bit more, but I think for a first track of an hour, I feel, again, I have no idea what the rest of the album's going to bring into it, but then we say, you're sort of setting your stall out when you have that first track. But I think it's just enough to engage without being, too overpowering or too much going on or not. So it's enough to get the interest in and see where we're going. And it sounded like it was quite nice. Obviously, we've got the merging of the end of the song we've just had into now what's probably going to be, well, will be the next song. So I like that effect there. So yeah, very intrigued to see what the rest of the album's going to have to offer to this.
Yeah, I made a mistake as well. I don't know why. I was confusing the 90s with the noughties. So I read it as noughties, but in my mind I'm thinking the 90s, and I started talking about the 90s. I don't know, but okay, so it's not
1999 into
2000. Same thing, isn't it? Yeah. Right. Okay. Right. Backstreet Brett. How did you find that one?
Yeah, wow, that's great. That and I've said nostalgia before. I mean, that got even more nostalgic. And what I was really, I enjoyed that you were still enjoying that as much there because that's a very dancey kind of track, which I know isn't your favorite sort of things all the time. But yeah, that's great. What was most annoying about it? And hopefully you'll dig me out of this one here. The original song, it sounded like where it's been sampled from. I just couldn't remember picture it from there what that song was. But yeah, and I said it felt like it felt like a remix sort of song, so a proper DJ remix kind of song. So it's surprised not to see like remix in the inverted commas next to this track here, or being like a bonus track at the end of the thing. So yeah, I really got pumping there. I really enjoyed that, and I think we're definitely going where this album is probably looking like to go with, really. So yeah, so really set quite high there for that particular song.
Yeah, I really like that. That was, I think now looking back, that first song was actually quite good in the sense of it just was sort of got us going, didn't go straight into it, whereas this, yeah, took it to the next level. Yeah, really like the sample of that song. Again, IQ, I'm not sure don't know what the song's called, but yeah, might be called Let It All Go, because that's what the lyrics were, weren't it? Yeah, that's an old school song. So I really enjoyed that. I just like the whole vibe to the song. And I'm just enjoying this kind of like, I don't know, like I'm envisaging in my mind like this sort of drum and bass style, but like I said in that first song, sort of very kids. Yeah, it's just clean. It feels clean. It doesn't feel like that sort of, I can't imagine like, I don't know what they call them these days, but like sort of rude boys sort of dancing to this. It's just not, I don't think it's cool enough, but I wouldn't have thought this is more, I don't know. Whatever it is, I like it. I never liked that sort of darker, sort of more hardcore, I don't like that sort of stuff, drum and bass stuff. This is sort of more what I like. It's like drum and bass, but like in a poppy kind of way, which is more kind of my cup of tea. Yeah, really good. It is like a throwback, isn't it? I can imagine sort of dancing to this kind of stuff back in the when was it? Back in the noughties, like yeah. So let's crack on. Tonight.
I waited all this time, now I guess it's
yeah, it's my turn to go first there. So, yeah, this one felt a bit different. Didn't feel quite as dancey. Kind of was dancey in a way, but not in the same way as that previous track. And I wasn't, you can probably see in my reaction, I wasn't nearly as excited. I wasn't enjoying it nearly as much as the second track. It was all right. It was quite a lot of lyrics, I suppose, in this one. So I think like the first track, I talked about the lyrics were kind of quite subtle. Couldn't really hear that much. With this one, you certainly could hear the lyrics. So I do like the fact there is a bit of variety here. It's not, yeah, there was that sort of ongoing beat, of course, but it did certainly feel different to the other songs. So yeah, just not as good for me as certainly as the second track, but it was still all right. Didn't mind it. What about you?
Yeah, right at the start, yeah, I really piqued my interest there because it sounded, oh, this could be really, really good, like almost like a good version of between the two songs. Where the first one, yeah, just a good mix between both of those previous songs we had there. I guess it kind of was, but definitely in the sense of, as you said, it's slower version, more focus on the vocal side of things. Again, I was trying to picture who who she sounds like, similar to, and I haven't quite got to it just yet. I only to a bit more of that one there. We still got this kind of dancey beats elements there, which was quite good, and definitely felt more, not in comparison to the previous one, but again, being in a club and actually listening to this one here. So I think there's something about it, but at the same time, there was something missing. We've talked about the previous show, that sort of or that sort of thing, just to really make it stand out or give that little bit of X factor to this particular song there. But like you, didn't dislike that one at all. Just felt it was probably missing something to take it to a next level.
Well said, sir. Right, let's go to track 4, Stars. These songs just end so abruptly, don't they? Right, anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Right, take us through that one then.
Oh, okay. I'll do my best without trying to waffle too much there. Yeah, what a great song there. So this song, The sample bit I did recognise, so I know that was Just Jack and the song Stars Where I haven't heard for such a long time, and what a good song. Yeah, but it's almost been broken up and taken in a totally different way from there. What I forgot to mention from the previous track, that comes to here, where you had said from the songs previous to that, it felt very clean and very more kid friendly. Since the last track and here, not as getting like super dark, but it's definitely not as clean and as kid friendly as it was previously from there. But yeah, really good sort of dancey beat to it, bopping away to it. Really like her voice. Again, I still can't quite. Her voice sounded different in this one in comparison to the previous track from there. Oops, sorry. Hello. But what I really enjoyed at one point in the song, this one here, which I've never heard anyone else sort of do, where she's taken the sample songs we know from Just Jack and obviously broken up a bit, but there was a point where she was almost singing along with, I don't know if it was the Just Jack sample, someone else who was singing the Just Jack bit, but almost like singing along with the Just Jack bits, which I thought was really quite cool. Actually, I'm surprised I haven't really heard anyone else really sort of do it in that same sort of vein, really. Yeah, good fun, that one.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one as well. Yeah, a song that I recognised. Didn't know who it was by. You said it's Jumping Jacks, I think.
Just Jack, yeah.
Just Jack. All right. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. It was, and like you said, yeah, I certainly towards the end she was singing along, like you said, which is quite unusual. And yeah, just had a good beat to it. I don't know, I like the fact I'm just hearing something familiar. The same with track 2. It just, I don't know, it adds something when you're sampling from songs that we know from the past. So it just makes it, I don't know, feels it more nostalgic. And I think with her voice, she was singing some like really high pitched stuff. It just felt very girly stuff. Like I just can't, or I think the people that follow her, I might be completely wrong. I can imagine her being popular with girls, probably more so than boys. I don't know, just from her style. Yeah, you mentioned it's not quite as clean cut maybe as it was earlier. I don't know, not sure. It just feels very sort of teenagey, I suppose. But yeah, that was a really good one. Let's move on then to track 5. Intermission. So listen carefully, Brett, because if you don't concentrate, you're going to miss it. Right, Brett, you got 10 seconds.
I actually quite like that. So we've talked about interludes before. They're quite unique for some albums. This one, yeah, not a lot to really say on it, but I think there's a nice little break there. Kind of reminds me a little bit of who do I really like? Tyler, the Creator, when he had a couple of interlude bits. Felt a bit like that, just something almost like behind the scenes kind of thing. Yeah, there we go. That's just within 10 seconds, just.
Yeah, for me, I don't really have anything to say. I don't know. It's just like, okay, no, fine. Let's listen to the next song. Right, the next song is Noises, and it looks like this is the shortest actual song, if we don't include Intermission. Let's go.
I guess I'll call your room today. It's on my holiday. I steal the shirt from them, but not know what the people say. I caught him and I thought I could go today. I feel like he would care about it anyway. I'm hungry, I'll be just what I wanna be. I hate someone off my poop, but now I know the name. My parents said that they would be escape. I promise you I haven't got a thing to spare. You should go and tell my friend as well, this isn't fair. To call of everything because we like to share. Am I hearing things or is there someone there?
What the fuck is that?
What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?
That's not stepping in.
Is that a step of faith?
One, two.
Right, so I just realised I was supposed to go first on that last track, wasn't I? So, Matt, do you mind if I go first on this one?
You can have the honours on this one.
All right, so we'll swap places. I'll be evens, you can be odds. Right, so one thing that stands out is her British accent. It definitely comes very British rather than American. Definitely picked it up on this song and the previous song as well. I feel like that whole kind of sort of drum and bass sort of things is very British, actually. Thinking back to what we sort of used to dance to in clubs and that. It definitely is getting a bit darker. It's not so clean, especially after the lyrics in this song. And I think like those voices or the sort of American parts from those guys, I don't know, it's like just sampling those sounds or something. I don't think they're like part of the song as such. They just didn't say that especially today. It was just it was a short song. It was all right. Not one of the standout tracks for me. What about you, Backstreet Brett?
You pretty much said all the same sort of points. I'll go there, so I'll kind of repeat them just in case they bring anything different to it. The only thing different that you hadn't said, and I would say it's hard to do. It's such a short album, track-wise, and the length of the tracks there. Like, could this be like the experimental track kind of elements? It's kind of a bit different now to what we've been having for, apart from that sort of dancey drum and bass kind of bit there. Exactly like you, the English accent came a lot strong on this one. I was going to say, well, is it because we've got those sort of American accents that it's still a bit more from there? But even the previous ones, you did sound English there, but yeah, especially more so on that one there. I didn't know if those sounds were from a different track, because something could have been sampled from that there. I wasn't sure on that one there. It felt like a glorified interlude type song, really. Felt like it was a little bit shorter. Another song, you might have just seen it as maybe just a bit of an interlude. So listen, we've got variation, something a little bit different, and we definitely had that darkness. So when I said about it got a bit darker before, I was sort of more alluding to, because she was talking a tiny bit more, and the other one's about sex, and I think there's other things there. So not like
I didn't pick up
really dark stuff, as in less so being more sort of kid friendly. But this one, we've obviously got the E big splitting on the Spotify thing there, so we were expecting a bit of that there. So different types, but listen, it's variation, it's something a bit different, but it still has that sort of kind of nostalgic, you say, that drum and bass that we would listen to back in the day as well coming through. So it's not the favorite one on the album, but appreciates it being there at the same time.
Okie dokie. Right, we're getting towards the end of the album. Let's go for track 7, Nice to Know You. Right, Brett, do you want to go first? I think, yeah, you've moved on to odds.
Yeah, I'm now on the odds. Yeah, again, apologies if I go a bit waffly, a bit over the place. But a bit like this song, there's a lot to sort of, lots of elements brought into this one here. I'll say straight from the start, I really enjoyed this one. I think this could be my favourite on the album. And I think because all the other ones we talked about, nostalgia and this been there, this one was brought like all these nostalgia elements into almost one song. Got some like classic R&B kind of feel to it, some garage, dance, pop, and what I realised the sort of classical because that classical music kind of thing. There's a time, I think also like the late 90s, early noughties, where classical songs were used into dance songs. We had that kind of element there. There was a bit where her English accent really came through strongly. She was almost, I don't think we've ever found a term for it, you know, when you're like just sort of speaking, singing, which is very much, as you know, one of my favorite Pet Shop Boys, kind of very Pet Shop Boys-esque.
Oh,
There, so it kind of had a nice feel. Yeah, honestly, it's got everything in that one there. Oh, we didn't say pop as well. We've also got pop elements from there, and we've got different ranges of a voice as well. So I can imagine it still felt like there was lots of different female singers within this, like it was a girl band kind of thing. But just imagine it's just her and her different styles, just edited and DJ'd together, whatever the right terms, from that one there. So again, like I said, lots going on, lots of genres, but came together really well. Really like a voice, and yeah, I think could be my favourite on the album so far.
Yeah, listen, I agree with everything you say there.
Oh, okay.
Apart from maybe
Well, I gather, yeah.
being my favourite song, but yeah, one thing I noticed and was going to mention, it was all the different layers as well. There was quite a lot going on different parts of the song, and yeah, like you said as well, different voices, like higher pitched in parts, and like so much so that again, I'm repeating your way. It did feel like sort of a girl band, yeah. But like you say, I'm sure it was just her different voices mixed together. So yeah, basically, I agree with everything you say there. There was a lot going on in that one, but in a good way, in such a short space of time as well, because these songs are so short.
How long was that one, by the way? Actually, was it? Just under 3 minutes. Yeah, wow. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was my favourite though, but I did quite like it. I still prefer the ones, I don't know, the ones that had a bit of familiarity because of the sampling. Those other two tracks, but yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, I totally get that as well. Yeah, that's it. It was just personal for me, just because there was so much there. But definitely the more dancey ones, catchy ones, I do get being your more favourite there for sure.
So we're moving on to Stateside. That was mentioned actually. Here it said, what did it say? I didn't read. Let's single Stateside, her favourite song from the record, usher in the new era. So we're expecting
no pressure.
Big here. Let's go.
I'm freezing outside, I feel my skin tight, my coat is inside, but I look up at you, I tried your paint right, for when you're in tonight, tell me when's the next time I'll run into you, it doesn't seem right, I'll take the same ride, wait at your bedside, I'll run right next to you, I'm going stateside, but I'll see you tonight, tell me how did it go, let me get into you. You're taking my control. Never been apart before, but I'm knocking through your door. But you're nice, so I say. Never met a British girl, you say. No one treats me this way. Our old boys are here to sing.
Okay, so yeah, I thought this was quite a different type of song. Possibly this could be like so-called experimental song. Maybe it just felt much more, just a lot slower. Definitely not a dancey type of track. There was obviously that ongoing background beat as usual, but it wasn't quite. It wasn't very intensive, and the singing was a lot sort of toned down. You could, I suppose, quite easily pick up on the lyrics. I would say, talking about an American boy, I think, she's a British girl, so she's really playing on that sort of Britishness that we were meant talking about earlier with her British voice, British accent. But I didn't particularly like this actually. I just found it a little bit not as exciting maybe as some of the others. Not that every song has to be exciting. So I did appreciate the sort of difference in style, I'd say. But I just didn't enjoy it as much as some of the others. What about you?
Yeah, it's a hard one to do because, again, not trying to take words that she said and had an influence there where she said this is one of her favorites. I do probably get where she's coming from. This felt to me maybe the one that'd be more likely to be as a release song. I know there was one that was mentioned on the blurb that we had at the start. It was a different one that probably was. I think it was that Tonight song. It was more, but this felt more like it could have been. And I say it was that in between where, you know, it's definitely a lot slower, but obviously still had that dance beat and then had bits where it almost was going to get you going. Like the bit I picked up, like the sample part, even though I don't know how much of a sample it was because she's changed the words and there's hardly much of it. But the Sugar Babes copied it, Freak song, but I can't remember who did the original now. So yeah, again, different elements, but obviously not as much as the song we had previous to that. And as you said, yeah, more focus on the sort of the vocals and the lyrics side of things there. And I said it just, for me, just, I liked everything that was good in parts, but like we had one of the earlier tracks, missing that thing where it almost felt like it was going to go up a notch and like take into more of a dance thing, but just sort of doesn't, and brought it back down to that same sort of slow, but yet fast beat there. I feel like one of the earlier songs you hear in a club at the early stages when it's sort of just open, where it's just sort of more atmospheric music before it gets into the clubby side of things from there. But I'm still enjoying that sort of underlying nostalgia feel to it with some of the sampling songs, and that kind of definitely has that the sort of like early noughties feel to it, which does feel quite nice.
You mentioned the Sugar Babes there. Push the Button, you like that song?
I do know that song. I do like that song. That wasn't the one that was sampled on that one there, but we could do a whole thing on the Sugar Babes and type of their songs. I think they're a little bit underrated in parts.
Okay, right. Let's go on to the last track. Okay, Romeo.
Romeo done.
Possibly, that's what I was thinking. Romeo done.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're my Romeo, and I just changed your name, now it's Romeo. Okay, I might just add you to my portfolio, despite your biggest stuff as Italian. You're my Romeo. You play your favorite songs through your speakerphone, and still I throw you through all your audio, despite my biggest stuff as Italian. You're my Romeo. Step one, don't let yourself fall in love. That is so fun. Step two, I'm Romeo. There's something in the air tonight. You're my Romeo. Everybody loves when it's total sound. I feel like it's magic, Romeo. You're all I can imagine.
Over to the main man.
Oh god, my first on this one. Let me get my thoughts together. I don't know where to begin with this one. It's the reason why I'm so flustered is because, especially with the song title Romeo, it sounds like the song Romeo based by Basement Jack, but not at the same time. It's almost like it's taken that song and really sort of slowed it down, or like felt like he's used it but not used it at the same time. So I think it was that me trying to pick up, going, has it been sampled? And that's probably what took most of my thoughts from there. Did I like this one? I might have to go back and listen to it again and be not so distracted by it. I felt at the start, it felt very American teen. I know we've done the scale for like Andre Grande before. It felt that kind of sort of pop princess kind of start to it, and then sort of changed up a little bit. And then there was elements of her Britishness voice coming. She sounded quite American at the start. Then some of that Britishness came in. And again, like with the previous track, it felt like it was going to go up a whole bunch of gears, but kind of didn't. It was fast, but not that fast. It felt like a nice last song of the album, almost toning things down a little bit from there. So yeah, it's still, but again, like all the other tracks, it still had this kind of nostalgia feel to it. Still very poppy overall, with a little bit of those dance elements from there. Again, still felt had a lot of these different elements and just sort of came together quite nicely. I still think there's other songs I preferred on the album compared to this one. But that definitely wasn't bad. I know that's something I've got here. Almost a bit of K-pop kind of element feel in the middle of that there as well. I can imagine a whole bunch of Korean girls sing along to that one there at some point in the middle. So yeah, not my favourite on the album, but definitely nothing wrong with that there at all either.
Yeah, I thought that was okay. I probably preferred this one to the last one in a way. It was a little bit more catchy in a way, and Romeo. I don't know, there's a little bit more to it. But at the same time, I wasn't really sure on it. I was like, okay, yeah, it was like got going in places, but then other parts I was like, I don't know, I don't really have too much to say on this one really. There was another part, there's a part towards the end, I don't know if you picked up on it, I'm sure you did, whereas like another kind of voice came into it, sort of quite like a male voice. I guess, I don't know if it's a sample of something. It was only very brief and towards the end.
Yeah, I did pick on that, and that's what threw me off because the song I was thinking of was being sampled. It's generally a woman's voice that does sort of singing from it, and it didn't sound like it was from that. But yeah, I think that's what probably threw me off a little bit more, because like trying to pick up, is it, and then something totally different will come up from that one there. So yeah, definitely sampling is happening in this album, that's for sure.
So if we're going to sum up, I'm just going to quickly look at the album, just to remind myself. Yeah, I think track 2, wasn't it? It's track 2, Girl Like Me, that I like.
Yeah, that's the one you like, yeah.
That song, whatever it's called.
I need to find what that song is as well, yeah.
Yeah, I like track 4, Stars. That also had the sample. And I'd probably say, yeah, first place would be Girl Like Me, second place probably be Stars, and third place would be your favourite song. I think it was Nice. Was it Nice to Know? Yeah, Nice to Know. Nice to Know You.
Nice to you, yeah.
Yeah.
And just on that note, just before we carry on quickly, I'll just say, because my one, I think it will probably be backwards to that. Mine will probably be Nice to You, then Stars, just again, because I really like Just Jack in the song, and then, yeah, Girl Like Me. If I probably reckon, if I knew what the song was, I'd probably jump up higher, but because I can't put it any higher than that there. So, yeah, that's my 3-2-1 capacity, or 1-2-3.
Yeah, so very short album. I wonder if it's short because young people have such sort of lower attention spans these days. I've been reading about that quite a bit. You know, that they don't like to watch like full length YouTube videos. So I'm sure no one's going to be watching this. You know, they want like YouTube Shorts and TikTok and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it was short, but I quite like it like that, to be honest. You know, it doesn't drag on. It's just you get, you know, a nice bit of music for 20 odd minutes. So yeah, I enjoyed this album. It definitely felt like a throwback to the noughties, very much so. Back when we were, you know, going clubbing and stuff. And yeah, I enjoyed the sampling as well. I thought that was a really nice touch. And yeah, very British sort of voice, very very girly like as well. Like sort of like I said earlier in one of the after one of the songs, it just felt like she's going to be popular more with girls than with boys. I don't know if boys would like listen to this kind of stuff. It might be a bit, it's a bit girly. I don't know. I get that kind of impression. I might be wrong. Probably am. But yeah, that's just kind of the impression that I get. But yeah, this was really interesting album, interesting sort of artist, the sort of take on drum and bass in terms of how she's doing it. She took, she slowed some of the songs down as well. So yeah, overall I enjoyed that. What about you, Backstreet Brett?
Yeah, listen, I absolutely enjoyed that, and I wouldn't be saying the same if it was a lot longer and if there was more other samey tracks or anything from there. I don't know. I like to think I probably still would, because I said there's enough creativity into that really makes it sort of interesting from there. Loved all the sampling. Like I said, it just helps bring that sort of nostalgia feel and that kind of just pure early noughties feel. Because I know we compare other songs or albums we listen to, go, oh yeah, it sounds, a bit like the 90s or bit of the mid noughties, and kind of clutching the straws there. Well, this just purely felt like it with that, and just with the nods with Just Jack, who would have been early noughties as well. So yeah, like I said, I really liked her voice. I like the way, like I said, she has sort of brought some of these songs together. And like I said, a particular one that I liked, I said, just so much going on with that, and just all together so well in such a short song as well. That's probably the only criticism, maybe, that some of these songs were probably a bit too short. Or like I said, just abruptly end, where at least with the first one, it kind of merged into the next one. I think maybe that if they're more, still going down this whole dance kind of route, it'd be nice to maybe have merged some of those tracks from one to the other. But yeah, I'm really impressed with PinkPantheress, and be interested what else she kind of probably does. I can't answer your question in terms of is this short because of the youth of today, without trying to sound too old. But I will say, considering where a lot of songs now that are created are designed to be created for like TikTok or YouTube, they're background songs for that, so they kind of need to be short time to get attention, and no one really listens to the full song anyway. So there probably is elements of that there as well. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what her earliest, because obviously this is a new side to PinkPantheress, isn't it? There's a previous side there, but this side I really liked. So I'm definitely going to put one or two of those songs onto a playlist there. So I think overall it's a successful album listened to, I would say.
Yeah, well said. So that's it from us, guys. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again soon. All the best, guys. Goodbye.